Okay, here's a walkthrough of the 18-foot center console Maycraft after I've put my hands on it. Live well's under here. Basic problem with this was you fill it up with water and it comes out the top. The drain that's in there isn't sufficient enough for the pump. So I don't know what I'm going to end up doing with that, but maybe reduce how much comes in from the pump. I don't know. I'll deal with that later. I don't see myself using the live well too much here anyway. Little fire extinguisher I mounted there. Up front here, added a compass. Little compass, hummingbird fish finder. Down in here, got a radio. Little mic holder here. Pretty decent clean wiring job there. The antenna mounts on the rail here. A little cap dresses it up nicely for the wire to come through. Nothing on this side, just some storage. This here, I ended up popping the switch plate out in order to connect the lights and the VHF and the fish finder, and I did reseal it with silicone because there was no silicone. The wood that where they cut through with the wood, it was not sealed. So I'm assuming the same is probably on here. They didn't seal the wood there, they didn't seal the wood there, they didn't seal the wood for this, so those probably whatever. Does it need to be? I don't know. I did it just because to me that's a better practice. Under here you got a shelved storage area. I kind of cleaned up the wires here the best I could. They were really all over the place, but I kind of cleaned them up as best I could. And I ended up moving my battery up to the front here. You can see the big cables coming through there. That was a bitch to run. And here's the connections under here for the live well. And if you have one of these boats, check all your hose clamps, because I found a couple that were stripped through. That's just an access plate to the fuel tank. So that's all I did there. I just kind of cleaned it up. Ran the battery up front. Added a little 52 light Arctic cooler. Fits perfect under the back here. Yes, I'm using a belly strap because I don't have to go back around the boat and when the belly strap is on. I got my paddle, some line, and I added a wash down to this. I keep my plugs in the back here. As you can see, that little hole on the side, this is not a watertight compartment. So any water that comes on the deck and goes out the scupper can also splash in through here, and this area can become quite wet. Over here, I did some major changes over here. This is where the battery was. Again, I cleaned up these wires the best I could. I added a little junction box for the ground, and I added a battery switch in for the battery. I also added a washdown pump, in which I added the outlet here. So I had to run this tube up to here, and this is the outlet, a nice clean outlet. The hose plugs in, turns. You can do it with the full pressure on and all that. It's kind of a neat little setup. I forget the name of it, but Jabsco also makes one. A couple of rod holders in the back here. It's basically a no-frills utilitarian boat. Little Suzuki 115 on here moves this boat quite well. Then under here, this is where the real work took place. This was not easy. So under here, I got some through hulls for the, that's the overflow for the live well. And most boats, overflow for a live well would be above the water line, but because this is a rolled hull, you can't do that, so they had to do it underneath. Oh, this is the drain for the live well. And then over here we have the inlet for the live well through hull, and the washdown pump. So the washdown pump they had in there was a Tsunami. I replaced that. Oh, hang on. I replaced that with a SureFlow. I like the SureFlow magnetic drives. I also added a strainer in front of it. So I went with the SureFlow magnetic drive. And then over on this wall, this was the hardest part of the whole job, I mounted a Jabsco washdown pump, which also has a strainer, which is kind of redundant, but you know, it came with it, so I'm not too worried about it. I put it in. And then the wires, again, I kept them up off the bilge and cleaned everything as good as I could. Cleaned it up as good as I could. And that's it. That's it for the bilge area. Bilge pump, obviously. The only thing I don't have is the bilge pump set up to work if it was in the water, but my plans are not to keep it in the water, so I was not worried about that not being set up that way. But that's the interior. That's it. I mean, it's pretty cut and dry. Nice little setup. Oh, I got blurry. So that's it.